Robin, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
It's a privilege to have you with us, sharing your visions, ideas on transport, cities, the future, the present, the past. If you were to summarize who Robin is, what would you share with us?
I'm a person who is very passionate about transportation. I've done a number of transportation startups, some well-known, others that have not succeeded. And I'm working every day right now thinking about climate change and how, from my personal life's experience, which means I need to work on climate change in the realm of urban transportation.
Good, amazing. So I know you were born optimistic.
Yes.
I'm the father of 3 kids, actually triplets, so nice journey. When I look at this world...
How old are they?
7 years old, almost 8. 21 in total. Sorry. So this is frightening for me. I mean, big concerns out there. So I know you're born optimistic. You say, if we do the proper things, the future look bright, look great. But from 0 to 10, help me to understand your level of concern about what's happening out there around cities, all of that.
My concern is a 10, and if we could go higher, I would go higher. That there is no greater concern. I have my pessimistic self sees a very, very dark future, and I have 3 children, and I have my first grandson, and I sometimes joke with people that we talk about our children and we say we care about their future, but I want to say, do you expect to live for 10 more years? If you expect to live for 10 more years, you should be concerned about your own future. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's far away. It's something that is now and getting worse every day.
So 10, maybe 20 level of concern. But when you wake up in the morning, like if you were to say, okay, that's the most concerning thing. That's a big threat we should all focus our attentions on. What would you answer to that?
I guess I want to go towards the idea of capitalism. Because with capitalism, everything that we don't put a price on, we don't care about. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, we don't have a price on carbon, and we don't have a price on all the negative polluting externalities that we do. So we don't care about it and we don't address it. Mm-hmm. And I would say, likewise, if we think about right after we address climate change, we need to address our consumption patterns. Mm-hmm. And because we don't have consumption on everything that we use up and just throw away, we are consuming too many things. With a planet of 7.5 billion people, we can't consume the way we've been consuming. And then we talk about what's the future of work. If we don't have a consumption economy, what does the future of work look like? So I've been thinking about this, and if we think about the things that you and I would both agree are very important, we would say how we treat humans and relationships, and those are things that we have no value on. So if I speak from a woman's perspective, and this is a sexist woman's perspective, I have a child, and in the capitalist world, when I have my 1-month-old child, my 2-month-old child, capitalism tells me, Robin, you are of no value now. Please go out and get a job, and it might be a minimum wage job, but that's your highest value right now, is please go get and work for $15 an hour. So if I think about a non-consumptive society, or a society that's not consuming physical goods, in our current form of capitalism, things that we do value and that really improve society and the planet, and I would say taking care of children, taking care of old people, education, all the environmental things we might do, taking care of the planet, the streets, the forests, the feeding ourselves. All of those things right now we haven't assigned a value to, and so we just ignore them as if they have no value. So our current capitalist system leads us to chase things that I think are not the most important and to create a huge number of negative externalities that when we started this idea, there's a beauty to capitalism because it's so pure and simple, mm-hmm. and I appreciate that beauty. And it really was a very focusing thing, and it captures so many things. But with a planet of 7.5 billion people and what we know about climate change and consumption, it is a path that is, we are finding the edge of that path, so we really need to reinvent.
we're having more and more of everything and less of time.
Yeah.
So time is a scarcest resource. Any idea on that?
If we go back to that idea of our consumption society, let me tell you about cars, because I know a lot about them. On average, in our wealthy economies today, people are spending about 17% of their income goes to their car, meaning that you work the first hour and a half to 2 hours of your day is just to pay off how you get to work. So if we didn't have to own a car, well, then I wouldn't have to spend the hour and a half or 2 hours working to pay off that car. So if we really reconceptualize our aspirations and our requirements, and value things that we do value, like excellent conversation I'm having with you that is at zero cost and we're enjoying each other, we really could be changing how we want to live in this world, and I think the way we spend our time.
So all our current work on gig economy
Yeah.
is proving two mega trends. The first one is promiscuity. So it's not like loyalty, a concept which was part of the legacies of the vision. An employee should be loyal
Yeah.
to her company. She should stay there. You should retain employees. All of that is being massively hacked.
It is.
And then specialization. So it's like really moving to the limit.
Yep.
Ultra specialization, and that's unstoppable. At least it's my humble feeling.
Yeah.
The main problem here is this world is not shaped for that. So we're
It's
talking
not.
about structural
Exactly.
changes,
It is.
systemic changes.
Exactly. And so I feel like we are caught in a moment where we have the last 100 years where we built things for industrialization, which included our energy consumption, fossil fuel energy consumption, the level of consumption we have, the idea that you're going to go work for a factory for your entire life. And it has been completely disrupted in the last 25 years.
Yep.
And the pace of that disruption is really moving quickly. And the sad challenge today is that governments are built to not move quickly.
So we've talked a lot about new social patterns, new ways to engage people, platform economy, etc. And suddenly we have the machines coming in, yeah? Bots, robocars, autonomous cars, all of that. So what's your vision on that?
To this theoretical question, that's not a theoretical question, I have this metaphor. We are now able to make honey without any bees, without any worker bees.
That's a good one.
And so we as a society have to figure out, therefore, what should we be taxing? What do we want the worker bees to be doing?
Yep.
And who gets that honey? And how do we distribute that honey? And so we are really in this moment, and I look forward to many of the people I'll be hearing, and I talk to a lot of colleagues and futurists thinking about how it really is this issue of transition. And so I think all of us can imagine, out here, we can imagine what we're thinking it should be. But here we are, and so what are those first steps? And one of the things that is making me feel optimistic, incredibly, is there is an enormous amount of disruption in many countries,
Yep.
mine among them right now.
Yep.
That disruption is causing immense dissatisfaction or unrest and real struggle, and I think that is actually where we are more likely to make big disruptive changes. That when there is comfort with the status quo, we are less likely to make as severe a break as I think we need to make to go towards this future. So the extreme disruption that we're feeling actually, I think, is facilitating a big change.
Let's play a game. Imagine this is like a magic wand. I give you this magic wand. You take it. This gives you like massive exponential superpower. You can change with this magic wand whatever you do on planet Earth, whatever you do, but just one thing. So, what would you change?
Okay, it'll be a little complicated.
Okay.
Okay. I still want to keep capitalism because I really love the beauty that this piece of currency encapsulates preferences, supply chains, things. So my wand would encapsulate into capitalism negative externalities
Okay.
and positive externalities.
Okay.
So that we could still have some unit of measurement that's simple to understand and transact, that encapsulates those bad things and those best possibilities, so that you and I and everyone can make more rational decisions.
Okay.
That was a complicated wand.
It's a nice one. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a new book, yeah. Thank you so much. It was a privilege.
It was a pleasure.
We really enjoyed that. Thank you.